Okay. So as I was saying, if you're out there joining me live tonight is night 2 of our 5 Things to Let Go of Now series. And tonight's topic is all about letting go of self-doubt. So the constant self-doubt. So if you're out there and you're joining me, give me a shout. Let me know you're out there. Drop me a hashtag replay. Let me know where you're joining me from. Let me know. But like I said, tonight is night 2. So if you were with me last night on night 1, I talked about the fear of failure. I talked about my own personal experiences from when I had quit college, the death of my grandfather, the relationship with my mother, and a few other things. I talked about the exact tools and strategies that I've used to be able to work on fear of failure and to work on not necessarily getting rid of it, because it's not something you'll get rid of completely, but it is something that you'll be able to get under control. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about constant self-doubt. Now, self-doubt can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but for the big grand scheme, the big picture here, self-doubt is going to be that idea inside of you that you cannot succeed, okay? That you don't feel good about your environment or something that's happening to you, or it's just this innate fear inside of yourself that you are not good enough, okay? And this all stems back to the idea of being able to take care of yourself, being able to look yourself in the mirror, and really making yourself a priority. Because again, we tell ourselves that we're not worth it, we're not good enough, we're not a priority. These are all things that sink into our subconscious and they stay there. So it is super, super, super important for us to be able to take those and again, reframe. So again, if you're out there and you're joining me, let me know. If you have any questions, anything comes up for you as we're going through, ask me those questions. If you're thinking about it later and the questions come up, totally drop them in the comments. I am happy to answer them for you. But yes, tonight is all about constant self-doubt. Okay. Now, how many of you out there struggle with constant self-doubt? Okay. How many of you out there struggle with that idea of self-worth, with believing in yourself without understanding, why, okay? How many of you out there struggle with that? Okay. Yeah, self-doubt is a big one. Like I said, it really comes down to that fear inside of yourself that you're not good enough, okay? And that is something I have always personally struggled with my anxiety and my depression. Self-doubt has been a big one for me because I would always worry about what other people thought of me, what would happen if I didn't do something the right way. It was always kind of a backwards reflection. So it was less of an introspection and more of a looking outside of myself, being somebody else and not me. Okay. Now, self-worth was a big one. For a very long time, I didn't value my self-worth. Okay. Like I said, I didn't value myself as kind of a person. I really struggled with looking myself in the mirror and honestly thinking that I was worth it. Okay, that I was beautiful, that I was special, that I was going to be able to be this amazing person, okay? And I think that's something we all deal with to an extent. It's something that I even deal with now. Like, for example, working on getting my yoga classes out there, working on coaching clients, I often wonder if I'm good enough, that I'm not going to fail them, that I'm doing the right things, that I'm strong enough, that I am smart enough, that I am worth it, that I am going to be able to be there for them. Okay? So that is something that often plagues me. But this is why we do the inner work. This is why we stop these thoughts in their tracks and why we continue to reframe. Okay? So there's a lot of really great ways to begin working on those inner doubts, okay? That self-doubt. The first thing you have to do is really stop them in their tracks, okay? You have to stop them so that they don't spin out of control, because that's where the anxiety comes from. That's where the depression comes from. So if you start having those thoughts where you're feeling, again, unworthy, you're discouraged, you're not feeling capable, you have to stop them. Like literally, like we talked about last night, just stop them in their tracks, okay? The next thing, and this is usually what catches us, is the memories. So you've probably heard me talk about this before. Our memories are imprinted on our brain, okay? They're in our bodies at a cellular level, and it's not something that necessarily you're going to remember them like a rerun on TV, but it's more of the feeling. So when you get triggered by an experience, a person, an event, and then you start having memories of something that maybe happened to you during childhood or even a year ago, it's the feelings that are going to do it, okay? It's the feels. And that is what creates that. So what you want to do is really ask yourself, is it worth my time? Like, is it worth me thinking this? Like, am I really that horrible? Am I really not worth it? Am I really not good enough? And odds are you're going to look and laugh at yourself and be like, no, that's not true. That's crazy, right? So why do we, like I said, this is the big thing for me. It's those negative thoughts. It's why do we let them continue to ingrain themselves in a way that debilitates us? Like I said, for me with anxiety, I was always worried about what everybody thought of me. Okay. I was always wondering what they were thinking on the physical level. Like if they were looking at me, like, was my hair too curly? Or did I not have enough makeup on? Was I not dressed to fit in with the crowd? I would say things and I wondered if I sounded stupid or if I didn't make sense or if my words were all jumbled up. These are things that plagued me horribly. And it was things that, unfortunately, people used against me down the road. So it was ways that it was very manipulative and it was kind of like a big mind fuck. It was not a good time. So the idea of constant self-doubt can be really, really transformative when you use it for the right reasons. So like I said, the biggest thing is just to stop those feelings, stop those memories in their tracks. And then you really want to look into it and say, does that really affect you? Okay. Hey, Rod, how are you? Oh my gosh, I realize I'm hiding my little pendant. Oh my gosh. Okay, everybody's kind of hopping on now. Now, if you missed the first 8 minutes of this, you might have to cycle back a little bit. Okay. Now, tonight's topic is that constant fear of self-doubt, okay? That constant thinking that we're not good enough, that we're not enough, that we are not... Hey, James, how are you? Hey, Mel, I see everybody's popping on. Amazing. So like I said, tonight is night 2 of our Letting Go series. We're talking about all those things that we really need to let go of. Last night we talked fear of failure. If you missed that, catch the replay. Lots of good stuff in there. Tonight we're talking about constant self-doubt. So it's this thought process in our heads that we are not good enough, that we are not worth it, that everybody's out there judging us. And it puts us in this place of wondering, again, if we're not good enough. And that's the biggest one. And that's why taking care of that mindset, that is what's going to change things. So like I mentioned earlier, the first thing is to do exactly like last night. It's to stop the thoughts dead in their tracks. Okay, it's to really see them for what they are. And it's a memory. These are the things that are imprinted on us. These are the feels that are stuck with us. And it's what we can do to change them. Okay? And the biggest thing I can say, and I know for me, it's not getting stuck in comparing myself to others. Like, that was something I always struggled with. I would look around me at other women and wonder, why am I not, successful enough? Why am I not pretty enough? Like, I was holding myself to these standards and putting people on a pedestal that had no business being on a pedestal. I should have been putting myself on a pedestal. Like, I am a priority. I am what matters. I am good enough. And in my own way, I am super unique and beautiful and amazing. But again, that took me time to realize that. And every day, I still do struggle with that for a bit. It's all of these things that I'm talking about letting go of, they're not something you're immediately just going to flip a switch and they disappear. You can't just turn them off. But we can learn how to work through them and, again, use them to our advantage so they're not so debilitating or scary. It's really a matter of reframing, and that's kind of the phrase you're going to hear me use a lot this week. So, like I said, it's really understanding the thoughts. It's being aware and self-aware of the triggers and the feels and the things that are causing those thoughts. And then again, it's not getting stuck in the comparison trap, because comparisonitis is like the worst thing you can do. Because the second you start comparing yourself to others, you're devaluing yourself. Okay? I don't care if it's, I mean, right now the biggest way people are doing it, it's on social media. You see these photos and videos and streams and things like that on social media that you're looking going, why is their life so perfect? Why can't I have that? Why can't I be that person? Why can't I do? I can news for you. Social media doesn't tell half the story. Like, if I carried a camera around me and made my life a reality show, I can news for you. There's some days I am a mess, you know, and not the good kind. I mean, you know, definitely a hot mess. I mean, that was like today, for example. I had a lot of self-doubt today, but I mean, I'm very lucky to have people that when I start feeling myself go down that rabbit hole that I can reach out to. So whether it's my coaches that I'm working with, my Bali babes, these are amazing, successful women that I'm going to Bali with next year. If it's my friends that I can just text and talk to on the phone, these are people, you need to have someone to reach out to. And on that note, I am here for you. So if you've got things coming up, like I said, drop in the comments, DM me. This is why I coach. This is why I do the one-on-ones. This is why I have the memberships and the classes. It's all tools and strategies to help you deal with these things. Because again, you'll never turn it off. It's never going to leave you. But we can take it from being, you know, a 10 on the 1 to 10 scale and get it down to like a 1, which is super awesome. So, I mean, for me, like I said, today it was a lot of, you know, I'm sitting in my day job and I'm just ready to bang my head against a wall. I mean, it's just a lot of negative energy and a lot of just dealing with people that it's draining, mentally draining. And all I can think of is I want to help people and I want to do the right things and I want to teach and I want to be able to take people that are struggling just like I was with anxiety and depression back at that point where I was in a lot of physical, mental, emotional pain. And I just want them to know that it's not that bad. You know, I want to be able to teach them, here, this is what works. Because, again, I've been there. I know what works if you give it a try. And it's being able to do that, like, that would make me happy. But then I started doubting my abilities today. You know, it's one of those, I want to see my community grow to have 1 million people in it. I want to have, you know, hundreds of people in my membership site. I want to coach a different woman every day. I have all these things, and I was starting to wonder if it was really working. I mean, you look at 2020 and everything that's been going on between, I don't know, COVID and businesses closing and people struggling with mental health and other, you know, societal norms that are just, you know, up in the air right now. And I really want to, you know, be a part of the solution, I guess you could say. And like I said, today was a day where I was really doubting that I was doing enough, that I was good enough, that I was, you know, worth it to be able to step into that role. And I struggled today. And like I said, self-doubt can come in many forms, and that's just one. I mean, there's days where, you know, it's a weekend and it's a Friday night and you want to go out and, you know, like I said, I go back into that selfish hole of, do I look right? Am I going to blend in? Am I wearing the right things? You know, and I look at those around me and I'm just kind of like, do I fit? And I start doubting myself that I'm not good enough to fit in, that I'm not, you know, worth hanging out with, that I'm not doing the right things. And again, I know that sounds kind of superficial and really kind of lame, but these are the doubts that go through my head. But like I said, if you could stop yourself, if you can reframe, and that's something that I really do want to work on with people. There's a lot of really good ways to do that. One of them, if you're not comfortable talking with someone, so whether it's a therapist, a coach like myself, friends, family, you know, you think nobody understands you, get yourself a journal, because this baby will understand you, because it is you, okay? It's your opportunity to put a pen to paper and write down whatever you want, okay? There's no wrong or right reason when it comes to a journal. It is the one thing that will always be there for you no matter what. And you could do a couple things. I mean, you can do an old-fashioned Dear Diary kind of a journal. You can write down your thoughts, things that happened during your day, why you did the things, why you thought them. Because I got news for you, when you spill this stuff out on a paper, you're able to reflect from a place that's on the outside, you know, as opposed to being inside your brain and letting things run wild and out of control and they're just irrational. This is a great way to see them, again, from the outside looking in. And that's one way. Like I said, the second way is to talk to somebody. Therapists are great. Coaches are great. Your family is great. But you want to find someone that you trust to understand you. That's the biggest thing. I mean, for me, I tried therapy. Therapy didn't work for me. It's not that I didn't want it to work for me. I liked the woman I was working with. I thought she was great. She was the first person that started having me go through like the guided, hypnosis meditation kind of feel. She started making me look at myself and self-reflect and become aware. And it wasn't until they started making me want to have to take meds, which turned me into a zombie, that I was like, I don't want to take them. And they're like, well, then we're going to let you go because you have to do it. I mean, that's what's half the battle. It's wrong with our mental health system, is this is the stuff they're encouraging. It's not your own train of thought. It's not your own growth. And it's not the ability to self-reflect. They want to medicate you. And I don't believe in that, okay? I believe that there is a better way to do it. So yeah, obviously, if you need a therapist, you need meds, you do you. But there's also another solution for those that don't want that shoved down their throat, okay? So that's the next thing. Like I said, or if you don't want to do the therapy route, like I said, get yourself a coach. Find someone that you look up to and talk to them. I'm telling you, it's a great way to learn. And like I said, if you have a friend or a family member, somebody you can confide in, somebody that you trust, get real and open and honest. Because honestly, most people really don't care that much about what you think or do, to be honest with you. Like, you look at them and you think they're judging you. You think they're hearing you in a way that's not what you really mean. Most people aren't even, honestly, like I said, like your average person, you go in the grocery store, they probably couldn't care less about what you're wearing, what you're doing, and what you're saying. You need to get someone that you trust, because they're the ones that are going to listen. They're the ones that are going to hear the real you. But that also comes down to you. If you're not able to communicate and you're worried about that person judging you, the person that you trust more than anything, that is something serious that you need to reflect on. Because if you can't get real, none of this works. Okay? None of it's going to work. Okay? And I think that's the biggest thing, especially with the constant self-doubt. It's really being true to yourself. And like I said, that was something that was always difficult for me, was I would doubt myself, and things would happen and things would come up, and I would just kind of be like, I wouldn't get really real about it. I was almost trying to hide it from myself. I didn't want to think about where I was and what I had going on. Like, it was almost like it was superficial. It wasn't important in the grand scheme of things and what was going on in the world. Like it was, like I said, like it didn't matter. But you do. No matter how silly you feel, how superficial it might feel, if it's important to you, that's what matters. Okay? When you, like I said, real talk is the big one. Like I said, that's what happened to me today. And that was just today. Like I said, these are things that happen, but that is why I journal. This is why I talk to people. This is why I have a support system. This is why I hire coaches. This is why I have people helping me to continue to be the best version of myself. Oh, that is rain. That is crazy rain. Sorry, it's raining here and it's really loud. And it's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so I don't really know how much more I can say on that, except to encourage you to take that idea of constant self-doubt and really step back out of it, get out of your own way, and reach out so you can see it from a different perspective, okay? And that also kind of stems back to last night when we talked about fear of failure. Your constant self-doubt, they go hand in hand. When you're afraid you're going to fail, when you're afraid something's not going to work out, your self-doubt is the same thing, okay? You're looking at almost like yourself, you're a failure, that you're not good enough, that you're not worth it, that you're not amazing enough or beautiful enough or whatever it is for you, but they go hand in hand. And like I mentioned, until you start really reflecting, you start writing out, like, why do I doubt myself, okay? Why do I feel that I'm not good enough? Why do I feel that I'm not worth it? And then you take that list and you honestly sit back with your list and look at it and go, I want you to read what you wrote out loud. And then ask yourself, is that really true? I will bet you probably 97% of what you wrote down isn't true. It's what's up here, and that's important because that's what you're thinking. But when you start realizing, and when you can actually see those things that you realize are not true, now it's time to stop thinking them. We want to reframe them. So you're actually going to take your list, and like I said last night, kind of draw a big line, and on the other side, flip it over. I want you to actually change it around so that now it is something that's true. Because like I mentioned, you are worth it. You are good enough. You are beautiful enough. You are amazing enough. You are confident enough. You are sexy enough. You take your pick. There's no reason why any of those things can't be true for you. There's no reason why your brain should be in such a control of you that you feel that you are not that person. So we're going to take your constant self-doubt and we're going to kick it in the ass. But like I said, it starts with you. You have to get real and you have to put it out there. Don't be afraid of it. So journal it out. Find someone to talk to. Again, realize you are not a failure if you think you're failed, okay? You just have to get real. So on that note, if this is something that you're struggling with, if this is something that constantly comes up for you, those feelings, those anxieties, those worries, all those thoughts are constantly racing through your head, try the tools that I mentioned, try the avenues that I gave you. But if it's still not enough, like I said, I am here for you. Like I said, my exact tools and strategies were a lot of self-reflection. I did that with meditation. I did that with yoga. And again, I did that with talking to people who have been there. And you can do that too. Like I mentioned, I offer classes every week. I have a monthly membership, my one-on-one coaching. These are all great resources, but you have to want to do it. You have to communicate enough with yourself to say that something isn't right, that you can do more, and that you are worth more. You are a priority. So make yourself be one. Start working on you. Grab all the links in my bio. Everything is in there. All the resources, the different ways we can work together. Check it out. Again, if you have any questions or, this is triggering anything for you, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about... Let me see what tomorrow is. So many things on my mind that I just don't remember what I said. Ooh, tomorrow is living your life to the... I can't see here. Yes, tomorrow's day 3 of letting go is living your life to the expectations of others. That is going to be a wild ride of a topic. I've got a few things that I do really want to go over with you guys, a few stories that I do want to share with you. So again, if you want to get to know me more, get to know yourself more, stay on for this ride because like I said, tomorrow is going to be a big day. It'll be 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Replays will be available if you can't be there. All the replays are on the video streams. I am uploading them to my YouTube page. If you haven't checked that out, definitely go ahead and subscribe. I've got lots of fun free classes, other trainings, and ways to continue to work on your personal development. And like I mentioned, I'm happy to work with you on this one-on-one. Like I said, check out all the links in my bio. Living your life to the expectations of others is going to be tomorrow. That is a big one because that is a huge societal faux pas. So I'm going to go over that with you guys tomorrow. On that note, does anybody have any questions? Anything coming up? Anything on your minds? Nope. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. Then I'm going to let y'all go. I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 for day 3. Bye, guys.